Welcome back to another episode of Casey Campbell's Videocast. Casey Campbell here with Great Lakes Post, and we are now joined by Holley Hollan from BMR, the driver of the number 50 Toyota in the ARCA Menard Series West. How's it going, Holly?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Pretty good season for you so far. I know that it's, I know the season, you got 3 more races left, but just overall, talk about how this kind of stock car thing is going for you.
For sure. It definitely was a big jump for me my first year in pavement, being in the ARCA West Series and being with such a dominant team with Bill McAnally Racing. So it's been definitely a good learning experience for me. I've been to all new tracks and got to be around a whole different group of people, whole different type of racing, whole different atmosphere. It was definitely a lot of year for change for me. I moved my life to North Carolina and, just pursuing the asphalt dream that I have. And so it's been good. I feel like with everything that went on with COVID at the beginning of the year, I wasn't really sure how many races we were going to get in this year. And being a rookie in the series, I was really hoping we would get all of the races in. So I'm really fortunate for that. We got to race back to back quite a bit, which I think was really good for me. Getting to race 2 days in a row when we were in Washington and in Oregon, and then coming up we'll be racing in Roseville and then Kern not long after that, just a day in between. And so that really is more kind of my style, where I come from in the dirt racing 3 to 4 nights a week, just staying in the seat, getting more seat time, meshing with the team a little bit more consistently, since I live on the East Coast and they're based out of the West Coast. And so that's always good to get to spend time around the team, be in the shop, stuff like that. So it's definitely been a good learning year for me. Probably the biggest moment of reflection that I had was going back to the bull ring, since I had raced there previously this year. Actually, my second ARCA race was there. So just being able to go back to the same track and kind of have the same variables. Obviously, I was in the same car with the same crew. And the only thing that really changed was my improvement and the improvement with the team and the car. And so that was really nice to see. We had probably a second place car. Gracie was really good there. So that was unfortunate. Blew right front with 11 to go on a restart. Running third. And so I think we could have ran second at that race, which would have been really good. But still, just being able to reflect on the progress from where I started in February to where we were last month there, I feel like was really good for me, just to kind of realize a little bit of where I was at. Sometimes when you just race, and you never really have a little bit of time for reflection, it's hard to see the progress that you've made. And I actually got to have Tony Hirschman spot for me there back in February, and then he spotted for me a month ago too. And so to be able to hear his feedback of what he feels like has changed and got better was definitely good for me as well.
Yeah. So, of course you come from the dirt background. You're from Oklahoma. So you have taken a similar path that Christopher Bell has taken to get to where he is. I know you came from the dirt circuit. What's been the biggest transition from racing, on dirt to running these big stock cars? Because it looks like you're not the only one of your teammates, because Gio Selzy, of course, comes from a dirt background, and so does Jesse Love. So what's that been? What's kind of like, how have the 3 of you kind of transitioned to it?
Right, for sure. There definitely is tons of conversations about just how much different it is. And there are certain things that you can take from the dirt that can make you better, I think. Being able to save tires and stuff like that, and knowing the feeling of slipping a tire, because you know that in a dirt car. And obviously you don't save tires really in a dirt car, but just knowing what that feeling is of being right on the edge but not slipping a tire, I feel like has helped me, as well as saving yourself from spinning out or something like that, because you're used to having that throttle control of if you do get sideways or something like that. I have heard quite a bit of the teams that I've worked with, test with, and stuff like that, that's something that they notice. And you obviously see that with Christopher Bell and some of the saves he has from getting pretty sideways in some of the Cup and Xfinity races that he's ran. and being able to save that. So there are definitely benefits, but it is just a completely different craft of racing. Racing less is probably the part that is a lot different for me, just because it's like a whole different lifestyle. Going from racing 90 races that I raced last year to racing 15 races that I raced this year is just a lot different. But I have enjoyed it, and I think that my teammates that have made the transition from dirt to pavement, we've gotten to bounce some things off of each other. Obviously, Jesse's been in the pavement world a little bit longer than Gio and I have. But we definitely bounce stuff off of each other and have kind of learned together. So it's definitely nice to be part of a big team that has a lot of knowledge behind them.
So we're, of course, you said earlier we have Roseville, Kern, and then we're going to go to Phoenix. What do you want to see out of yourself in these last 3 races?
After kind of what I saw in myself at Vegas, I feel a lot more confident going into these last few races. I did kind of get to a point where I was a little bit down on myself and not real happy with our performance, struggling to, get into the top 5, and we really do just lack laps and experience. And so just being able to kind of realize, how many laps behind I am from a lot of the people I'm racing against, but just trying to capitalize on what I have been able to learn this year. And I have been to Roseville before. I raced there quite a bit this year in a late model. And so being able to be familiar with that track, I also did a combine type deal when I tried out for racing for Bill McAnally last November. And so being at that track before, I feel really good going into, because I'm familiar with it. And same with Bakersfield. I've been there before. We've gotten to test some late model stuff there too. So just being familiar with those couple tracks, and then being able to run sim on Phoenix. There's few of our tracks that we get to actually race on sim with being on the West Coast. But being able to practice on sim to get ready for Phoenix, I feel really good about as well. So I'm looking forward to the last 3 races. I probably feel the most confident right now than I have all year. And so going into these last few races, just try to do the best we can do and get the finishes that I feel like we've had and just haven't been able to finish it off, like what happened at Vegas.
Yeah. Holley, I know that the talks of what everyone's going to do next year is, up in the air. Do you know what your plans are, and do you want to continue this stock car thing, or what do you want to do?
I do not have any plans as of right now for next year. All of my stuff is through Toyota and in their hands. Obviously, I want to race pavement. That is what I want to do, and that is what I enjoy doing. I don't have any plans for next year as of now, set in stone. I have a very good relationship with Toyota, and I'm very fortunate for what they've done for me to bring me to this point in my racing career. And I honestly just don't really know what the future holds. I think a lot of things are just unknown for a lot of sponsors and a lot of companies right now as a whole. And so I don't know that decisions are going to be made as quickly as everyone wants them. But at the end of the day, that's part of the life of racing. And so I'm not sure what my plans are for next year, but I do hope to still be pursuing my pavement career.
All right. Holley Hollan, thank you so much for coming on and talking with us, and good luck next weekend at Roseville and Kern.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No problem.